we're back in Sioux Falls. Coach Musick of ORU joining us now. Coach, how are we doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Well, what's the excitement level in ORU preseason number 2 team?
Very excited. What a huge opportunity. So we're excited of where we've been picked, and we just view it as an opportunity.
Yeah, when you have that to start the season, does that feel like it adds a layer of pressure or an expectation to live up to, or how do you handle that as a head coach?
I always say pressure's either felt or created. So we like to create it and not feel it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our philosophy that we want to talk about. And so, it is, there obviously is that layer of pressure, but it depends on how you handle it.
A year ago, you win 21 games, you go 11-5 in this league, and you go to the WNIT. How important was that postseason bump, that time not only in the gym, but just sort of as a momentum piece for your team and your program?
I think just having that young team, we had 10 new players last year, having the understanding that that is our goal. We want to play in the postseason, and basketball is a long season, but just like you said, to be able to be in the gym, have those practices, prepare for those, postseason play games, that has to be an expectation. And for those young players to be able to experience it, it's just going to help us in the future, and especially in this upcoming season.
This roster of yours looks pretty similar to what you had a year ago, which I'm sure is
Finally.
a very nice feeling for you and a coaching staff. You were the top scoring team in this league last season, averaged a little over 82 points a game. I know you always say speed kills, and it is a system, and it's how you like to play. But there's other things that people forget sometimes, I think, statistically. And I'm a numbers person, so I always like to get into the weeds, like on all the printouts. You led this league in steals, turnover margin, assist or turnover ratio, offensive rebounds. That is a lot of consistency from a young group.
Yes.
What's the carryover? What has been the focus? And how does this team now take it into this new season?
I think consistency, they were fairly consistent last year, but I think we have to be even more consistent, have a higher level of consistency. Obviously, we play fast, so getting to the free throw line is important, and we didn't shoot the free throws as well as we needed to. That's going to be extremely important. Obviously, I think we have to have other players helping Ruthie get rebounds. She is a rebounding machine, but those things are important. Limiting our turnovers in the midst of playing fast. Hannah Cooper helped us with that.
Yeah.
So, now we have to replace that. And that's going to be an extremely important piece for us to be as successful as we want to be, is we have to still be able to play at the speed we want, but limit those turnovers, making good passes, making good decisions. We do have 5 freshmen, so they have to learn really quickly.
Yeah.
I think the one thing with having so many returners that has helped us is they really do have a better understanding of our system. They really are starting to really run the offense. I mean, it looks like we ran it well last year, but quite frankly, they didn't run it as flawless as they needed to.
Yeah.
And I think the understanding, the camaraderie, and that consistency, bringing in some returners that have a high level of play that they played in the league last year, to be able to put that on display, and just the continuity. I think that they're running the offense better than they did last year, and I think that's going to be important. Their spacing and them sharing the ball at a high level is going to be extremely important, and they're starting to do that in practice, which is important.
You mentioned Hannah Cooper. She was one of my favorite guards in this league over the last couple years. I think she blossomed in your system.
She did.
But you got a really great news when Ruthie Udoma said she was coming back for her 5th season, the best rebounder in this league. She spent 2 years at Oklahoma State before she lands at Oral Roberts. Just talk about having a player like that say, you know what, I'm coming back, I'm making a commitment, and what that does for your locker room and your leadership.
Man, just having that consistency, they have faith in Ruthie, and they know that she's going to get rebounds. They know that she's going to get putbacks. They know she's going to be able to guard in the post. She has a speed and an athleticism that it's just top notch. I mean, she's just phenomenal, but she's an even better person, like you said, in the locker room and off the floor. And so even though she's not the most vocal, she leads with the fact that she's very consistent. She never has a slow gear. She's always working hard. She's always pushing herself and her teammates. So just having her come back and know that we have that rebounding, that consistency, that leadership, someone around the rim who can put in the hole, and she's really worked on, I think, her post moves, which I think is going to help us. We've got to be able to get some moves, some post moves, some points in the paint, not just off of putbacks. And then the fact that her mid-range game, I think she's worked on that as well, and she's really going to be able to excel there. But just her leadership, consistency, and being able to have a nucleus coming back with consistency and just a maturity.
Yeah.
It's really going to help us.
You tested this group last year. I said that you were kind of like a honorary member of the Big 12 because it seemed like you played like all the Big 12 schools in the non-con. You've got some tough games on the schedule, but yet challenging, but ability to kind of figure out where you are. You go to Oklahoma State. You've got Tulsa in your city matchup. You're at Arkansas. You've got Oklahoma in December. Just talk about how you and your staff worked through scheduling and said, you know what, this is where we got to not only build confidence for our kids, but we got to go out and see who we are before we get to Summit League.
Yeah, the Summit League is not easy. I mean, I think it's a great league, and it's not easy for us to be able to. We want to compete at a high level and win and be consistent. And so, playing those non-conference games against the Big 12, the SEC, playing some of those bigger games, playing TU, we have to play them, at their place this year, and that just helps see where we're at. I think that one thing I love is my players embrace the fact. I always say, if you want to be the best, you got to play the best. And so we have to put it to test. We have to go see where we're at, what we need to fix so we can hone in on those things before January, before league play starts, before we really get to, just drudge ahead and push forward and see where we're at so we can be better, so where we want to land, because obviously we have some big goals in this league, and those kinds of games are going to help prepare us, and it will be battle tested prior to January, which is going to help us against everybody in this league.
Absolutely.
You talk about big goals, and you're coming off the heels of what last season was, and for the first time in a while you'll have the most returners coming back. Do you feel that extra edge from this group because so many of them were on this team last year and tasted that success, but are ready to do this with this team and take it a little bit further?
Yeah, they got a taste of it, and I think that that's really helped them mentally to understand where we want to be and to be able to to continue to grow. I like the fact that they do have a really good camaraderie, consistency, and they've really gelled as a team with bringing those returners back. But to be able to take it to the next step, to go a little bit further, they got a taste. They're hungry. They work hard, but they want to push us to the next level, and which is we want to play in that Summit League championship game.
All right, I got two questions. The first one, we talk about consistency a lot with this ORU team and the returners. That's not necessarily easy to do at a mid-major in this day and age with the transfer portal. People can jump ship whenever they would like. How do you keep that consistent ORU and what you want to accomplish and build that culture around?
I think part of it is our culture. Oral Roberts is a special place. They have to be willing, that has to be of who they are. And I think that that's important, that we recruit the Oral Roberts kid that wants to be there, that wants to embrace, going to chapel, being a part of our Christian-based faith, and being a part of that in our program. We embrace it. We love the fact that we get to praise Jesus all the time. And so to be able to have those kids that come in and that want that for their life, that want to be a part of a program that is built different, and that we get to put that out and be public about our faith. And that's what they want. And I think when you have those type of kids, they're loyal and they're faithful. They love our culture. They also love our system, which is the dribble drive. So to be able to put those things together, I think that helps us be able to retain those quality top-notch players, because they want the culture, they want the family type atmosphere, and they want that system, and they embrace it, and they are flourishing.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a glimpse of that. I went down to Oral Roberts for actually a men's basketball game and got to see the atmosphere and the fans in the arena. And I fell in love with just the campus and everyone on it. Honestly, they're just so kind and welcoming. What makes that place so unique?
I think the prayer tower is a focal point. If anyone comes to ORU, the praying hands are at the very beginning of our campus. I mean, everyone wants to stop and take pictures there. I think it's awesome. But I think the culture and the way that we're trying to build this program on the base of our faith, with the dribble drive and incorporating all of those things, faith, family, and fearless, those are the pillars. And I think that just because we are a little bit different, our players do go to chapel. It makes it special. It makes it different. And the fact that we get to worship and praise, we have chaplains, and we get to stand behind something that's bigger than us. Man, it's a blessing.
Coach, I got to ask you, because you mentioned fearless, and I think there's a lot of kids on this roster that's how they play. And one of those people who stepped in as the 6th Woman of the Year last year in the Summit League, Jaylee Oglesby, and she's also transferred, came to you from Arkansas Tech, from a Division II program, came in and just kind of set this thing on fire, and no nonsense. Cool, calm, and collected is what you see from her. Talk a little bit about your 5'8" guard and about what she brings to the floor and what you need from her this year.
I think she's extremely mature. You know, she wanted to come to ORU, obviously to have the opportunity to play at a Division I school, but she's very focused on her career, and we had the degree in which she wanted. And I think she fits our system obviously very well, but she's very mature. She's always cool, calm, and collected. And just the fact that, you know, she was a scoring threat, especially versus zones and even versus a man. I mean, she can get down the lane line, she can get to the rim, and she can finish no matter what. I mean, if we're playing our male practice team or whoever, she can score at a really high level, and she gives us that spark, that energy. You know, she was the sixth man for us by all means. And like, even though she was one of our leading scorers, to have that punch off the bench, that she could come in and get some quick, easy buckets, that she was so, you know, fearless in that aspect. And those are the things that we talk about, faith, family, and fearless. And we live by it. Those are the pillars within our culture and our program, and the fact that our players genuinely do buy in, and that we want them to, you know, our theme this year is activate your faith. And so we are really focusing on that too. And I think Jaylee does that. You know, she has faith in our program. She has faith in the fact that wherever we put her, she's going to come in and be a spark plug. And I appreciate her maturity and understanding and being able to be that for us, because it's been huge. And that piece is hard to find.
And not every kid's going to embrace that coming off the bench.
Oh, no.
You know, I mean, in this day and age, as we were talking, as we think about the portal and people, I mean, it is the wild, wild west.
It is.
You can turn over and go somewhere else tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And sometimes if you embrace your role and understand it, really good things come of it. She seems to be a great example of that.
She is. I mean, just to be able to be mature and embrace that, and not be, you know, not that everyone's just happy about that, but she really does come in, and she does what we need, and she's a fighter, and she's just scrappy.
Yeah.
And the fact that she comes in and gives us that spark. I mean, what a blessing. And kudos to her for being mature about that.
Absolutely. Fearless. No doubt about it.
Amen.
Well, Coach, before we let you go, I have the most important question. Are you a fan of chicken salad chick?
Yes.
Okay.
Not everyone else is, but I am.
love it. I know Avery loves it. Missy?
I have never been.
You've never been?
No.
They just opened a new one in Tulsa Hills, so it's not
Oh
too
my
far
gosh.
from ORU.
Okay.
So I discovered it when I was at this men's basketball game, and I'm like tweeting about it. I'm like, has anyone ever heard of this place? Where has this place been hiding? And apparently, so I live in Omaha. Avery does as well. Apparently, they're making one up in Omaha at some point.
It's because of your tweet.
And I think it might be. And
you know what?
I'm a
You should be
huge
getting
fan.
like some commission or
I know,
something from that.
There we go.
This is not a paid
She was
sponsorship.
talking about it, and I was like, is this a newfound love? Like, you never heard of it? And she was like, I'm going to ask every Oral Roberts person about it.
No, I'm a fan.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think a couple of my assistants would too. I know Coach Anderson would, but yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm a fan.
I love
support
it.
you.
Well, I have to get down to Tulsa, I guess.
Well, come on.
There we go.
And next time you're going to be at a game, I can always, I'll bring it to go if you give me a
That's
heads
perfect.
up. I got
That's
you.
perfect.
I got your back.
Got the connections now.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck down in Tulsa.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.